I'm just really excited to be here today, and I am going to talk a little bit about Hope House, but I really feel um, challenged because of such amazing people that we're sitting on the call with to speak to a broader thing about what this community does and all the different organizations. Um, what I love about the United Way is that every year they challenge us to think about ourselves as a broader community. And I know that as a nonprofit sector that we are always driven by how can we make our communities better. And the saying for this year that better is possible really resonated with me because I think that encapsulates what each of the organizations within the city of Guelph are doing, whether it's Wyndham House or Stepping Stone or Compass or Hope House or The Seed, and I'm missing a gazillion different other ones. And it's not because I don't know you, but I'd be spending the whole 3 minutes just listing the names because that's the kind of community we are, is we're a community that truly believes that it's at the core of who we are, is that we want everyone to have a place here and everyone to succeed. So at Hope House, we're really focused on this idea that we want to increase the well-being of vulnerable adults, children, and youth through the provision of immediate relief. So think food and clothing and such, and ongoing support, and that's the counseling and other items. And United Way, the way they help us with that is through two supports on two of our food programs, our food market located on site, which right now is serving about 2,400 people a month, and our food markets in 8 social housing buildings. So those are off-site, and that's serving right now 350 people a month. And through this poverty to possibility stream that we're part of, we get a chance to talk with other United Way funded agencies that are focused on food security and really look at how can we galvanize together to change long range outcomes. And I can't think of another or funding organization that is focused on getting groups to collectively to do good. Sometimes we'll have grants that come down from bodies that say, here is an opportunity to do a project together, but they give you 6 weeks to pull your project together. And I know that with the brilliant people on this call, all of you know that good long range planning requires more than 6 weeks work. And so what United Way has done is they have said that we are going to commit to supporting you as a group for 5 years, and we're going to let you continually build on your projects, take the learnings that you have and build on them. And so from the Poverty to Possibilities group, that has meant that we started off with at first kind of sharing knowledge and wisdom with each other. Then very quickly, we were able to, on the food component side, collectively purchase outside of the United Way, but because we knew each other, we were able to put together a grant proposal to collectively purchase a 40-foot refrigerated truck. I know there's probably a better word for that, but I'm not a transportation person. And that truck is now with The Seed. They are responsible for it, and they're picking up food in Toronto from Second Harvest. And it's bringing in about $1 million more food into Guelph, Wellington, and Dufferin. And that to me is super exciting because having worked in agricultural banking, I know how important our rural communities are and how often we forget how they feed us as broader, more urban areas. And then from there, we were able to get together with our housing partners on that group, which is Wyndham House and the Stepping Stone. And we were able to actually look at putting some food directly into those housing sites. And so that wasn't something directly that Hope House did, but as a team, we were able to talk about and problem solve in determined ways. And so they've now put food directly within those sites there that have been opened up with the supportive housing. And in addition to all that, we're now looking at how can we look at the data across, I think it's 5 organizations. And Colleen, if I've got that wrong, please correct me after I'm done, but I believe it's 5 of us. How can we collectively improve our data so that we can consistently share with each other what's going on and then adjust our processes because now we're able to see patterns and things across. And this to me is truly an example of that community convener role that the United Way plays. And I honestly want to challenge you to find another organization that's doing that. We talk a big game at some of our larger foundations across the country, but we don't do the local work of sitting down and facilitating those conversations and making sure they happen. And the investments in those facilitated conversations have allowed us to do this work. So the last thing I want to do is to kind of, as I wrap up and close here on this better as possible, is if we do things the way we've always done them, we're not going to see different results. And so United Way has been leading the charge and changing how we as nonprofits do stuff. But I also would like to say for tomorrow, there's a chance for all of us to take our civic duty in action and vote, because that is one of the ways that we as citizens can change the future. And so I'm not saying who to vote for, but I'm really charging you, please make the time to vote. All the people that you know in your sphere of influence, highly encourage them to vote, because it's so critical that if we want a different future than what we have, if we want that better that's possible, we need to participate in the process. We need to say to the individuals that we are giving the responsibility of governing what it is that we want. And I think we have, all four parties have provided some pretty strong and clear direction as to what their plans are. And so there is a real opportunity for us to say what of those plans are great and what we'd like to see happen. So that is going to be my wrap up right now. I want to express my deep appreciation to this community. Guelph is an amazing community to live, and it's a community that invests within each other. It's a community that says clearly that everyone belongs here. And I personally can't think of a better community to live in. And I know that those who are in Wellington and Dufferin, that you have similarly amazing communities. And I hope that the communities that you're living in give you that same sense of warmth and love and care, because that's how we are going to change a nation and be the communities that we want, which is a better community. So thank you.